Somewhere in the bowels of the city that never sleeps.
Kevin McCullough, radio host with Salem Media.
Is a man also not sleeping.
Syndicated radio talk show host Kevin McCullough.
And that guy would like a word with you.
Many of you know him as Nostradamus.
Of course that Kevin show is going to be great. The only thing that could be greater, of course, would be that Donald show. But we don't have that, so we have that Kevin show.
Featuring the music of Dick Tunney and the Dream in Color Orchestra. Still to come this hour on That Kevin Show, it's Assignment Desk Weekend. Plus, journalist Siamak Kurami with Why People Are Leaving California. And back in the spotlight, more Ellie Holcomb. And now, from Times Square, where New Yorkers were paid a visit this week by Ed Sheeran's fluffy blue friend, and it's rumored he started life out as a lovable pizza rat, here's that Kevin!
All right, welcome to hour number 2. Very glad to have you with us. It's That Kevin Show, per usual, here on this Saturday night. And you know, one of the things we like to do is to always keep you up to date on what's going on. That's why we have a very maniacal monologue to start the show. Lots of newsmakers in between. And in hour number 2, we kick it off with Assignment Desk Weekend. On Thursday of this week, special counsel Jack Smith, for the first time in American history, brought an indictment against a former U.S. president. Since he was appointed by the Biden DOJ, and since President Trump is likely to win the GOP nomination for the 2024 POTUS race, President Biden now joins the elite company of Mao Zedong, Joseph Stalin, and Adolf Hitler for attempting to jail their biggest rivals. No joke necessary. It's just history. The Trump indictment was also timed to be released on the same day as the FBI finally turning over evidence to the House Oversight Committee that showed that then VP Biden had engaged in a $10 million bribery scheme with Ukrainian executives from Burisma. The president split the bribe with his son Hunter Biden. When confronted about the revelations, Biden asked the PBS reporter in response, "Where's the money?"
There's damning evidence in the FBI file that you sold out the country. Do you have a response to the congressional Republicans?
Where's the money?
His response was misunderstood by many because, as opposed to being snarky, the addle-brained leader had actually just forgotten where he had placed it. New surveys show that Americans living in New York can save almost $200,000 by moving to Miami. Other perks also listed in the survey: no constant smell of a weed when you walk through the city, no getting robbed on the subway, no public urination, and much smaller, some would say almost invisible, tiny pizza rats. Experts are warning the U.S. that newly uncovered plans by China to build a secret spy station in Cuba would be, quote, not safe. U.S. voters responded by reminding said experts that on Joe Biden's watch, no one is safe, especially where stairs are nearby and involved. The nation's most listened to podcast host has had enough. This week, Joe Rogan torched Target for their Easy Tuck swimsuits, along with Hershey's Chocolate and Bud Light for using Dylan Mulvaney to endorse their products. What severely pushed Rogan over the edge, though, was Mulvaney's threat regarding the upcoming swimsuit season.
Normalize it. And I wear clothes like this, and we all just normalize women having bulges sometimes, because we're coming up on bikini season, baby, and you might see a bulge or two. So normalize the bulge. We are normalizing the bulge. Women can have bulges. And
on this day in 1752, Ben Franklin flew his famous kite. Also on this day in 2023, Mark Zuckerberg has been forced to admit his team wrongfully censored people on Facebook. Amy Schumer lost the game of you first with her celeb friends as to who would admit the use of Ozempic for their weight loss programs. And Garth Brooks, after insisting that his bar would normalize the bulge, was also forced to admit that he's a rotten dad. And finally, the strangest story this week. Cracker Barrel Eateries took heat for a social media post which depicted one of the chain's famous rocking chairs with rainbow-colored slats, forgetting for a moment that the rainbow was both the theme for Pride Month as well as God's covenant to never flood the earth again. The company was responsive to the outcry. As a compromise, the famously Southern chain has added a new dish to the menu, grits flavored like the famous breakfast cereal, Fruit Loops. And that's your assignment desk weekend. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've got a great hour still in store for you. We're going to speak with Siamak Kurami, who is going to give us the in-depth lowdown on what's going on in California. He's just authored the documentary Leaving California, The Untold Story, and we're going to get into the kind of nitty-gritty of what's happening in the Golden State. A little bit later on, we're also going to enjoy more music spotlight with Ellie Holcomb, her song Constellations on the spotlight stage before we're done. But I want to tell you about something I'm very excited about. This last week, we began to offer for the first time something I've wanted to do for the entirety of my broadcast career. You know that hosts take listeners to special places and they see special things. You've heard of everybody doing tours. Hugh Hewitt and Dennis Prager and Mike Gallagher and Sebastian Gorka. Everybody does a tour. I've led several tours to Israel, but there's been a tour I've always wanted to do and I've never had the opportunity to until now. And that is next year, for the 80th anniversary of the invasion of Normandy and the other beaches on D-Day. It's the 80th observation of the D-Day invasion. We have an opportunity to take a group to kind of retrace the steps of the heroes that led that victory in World War II. We will start out in June of next year, June 28th. We will start out in London. We'll all fly there. We'll be together for a couple of days and see some of the World War II memorials, how the British and the Allies intersected with each other and the plans that were made and where they strategized the victorious landing. And then we will go to Portsmouth. We will catch the ferry. We will go across the channel and approach the beaches the same way that the young men did as they were coming out of the bulkhead of those ships. And as we then get on land in France, we'll spend a couple of days in the Normandy region. We'll see the beaches. We will honor the fallen at the American Cemetery. We will see some of the more strategic landmarks that were involved in that invasion for a couple of days. We'll also do something fun. We'll go and have a wine tasting at one of the local wineries and do some other really fun stuff there. And then we'll make our way down to Paris and wrap up the trip in the City of Love. It should be the most amazing trip if you're a World War II nut, if you just like London and Paris and you just want to experience something really cool. But here's the catch. We have only got 32 spots available for this trip. It's going to be a very intimate group of people. We're going to have a lot of fun, but you have to sign up and you've got to do that. So here's how we're going to initiate this tonight. If you are interested in the 80th D-Day anniversary London to Paris venture with Kevin McCullough, go to one of my social medias, That Kevin Show, or send me a direct message there or send me an email to kmcradio@gmail.com, kmcradio@gmail.com, and in the subject line, put World War II. Just put WW2 or World War II. Just put World War II in the subject line, and then we will send you back the information on the trip. There is a very small deposit that's necessary to hold your spot. We're going to go about 1 year from now, so you've got plenty of time to budget and plan for it, and it's not terribly expensive. It's going to be a 10-day trip. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be amazing, and we want you to come with us. So send me an email, kmcradio@gmail.com, and put World War II in the in the subject line there. But again, only 32 spots available for this special excursion, this 80th D-Day anniversary excursion from London to Paris. And we'll spend a lot of time together. We'll get to talk about almost anything that you'd like, politics, geopolitical problems, or just the fun stuff that we like to cover here on That Kevin Show. But I want you to know about it. I want you to get your deposit in, and I want you to make plans to join us next June 28th through July 7th. We will be there. And I believe on the 4th, that's when we will be at the American Cemetery in Normandy. It should be a very moving opportunity. So will you make plans to join us? I sure would like it if you could. All right, Kevin McCullough, we've got a big hour. Stay with us.
Ready or not, he'll be right back. That Kevin.